What's up, everyone? Welcome to Akuma Studies, or Arsenal, or Industries, whatever the heck the name is now. Today is the first video in a very, very long time. Today we're reviewing a watch that I absolutely love, and I love the way that I found it. We are reviewing my 1974 vintage Timex. And why do I say vintage Timex and not a name like Waterbury or something like that? Because I honestly have no idea what watch this is. I don't know the name of the watch. A lot of these Timexes that they don't only have branding. They might have been like one-off offshoots. Maybe they're only manufactured for a short time. But in essence, it's your good old-fashioned vintage Timex. It is manual wind along with automatic, so I find that really cool. And first off, let's listen to that manual wind. Kind of sounds like it sounds like a cheap watch movement, right? I mean, we say cheap, but any mechanical movement is obviously a beauty to behold. But yeah, just a few more. And also here, you can hear the automatic. I'm pretty sure the automatic, I haven't opened it, and I don't want to open it because I don't want to damage the back. The back is like a type of plastic, and man, if I don't have the right tools, but I really just don't want to scratch the back. But I've seen Timex movements before. They are pretty like an 1874 factory. That's what they look like. They look pretty ugly, but they also have a bit of a charm about them. You know, you don't really see things like that very much anymore. I'll put a short video up of my other Timex and what that one looked like. Keep in mind that one is solely a manual, and that one was given to me by TGV, and he kind of sparked in my mind the vintage Timex world, and I appreciate him for that. Timex is a very cool brand, one of my favorites of all time, because they produce watches for a very affordable price, and they sell them like crazy. For example, nowadays, who hasn't seen a Timex Weekender? Who hasn't seen one of those? And basically, this watch and all of its other variants that are either manual wind, automatic, both, different sizes. They are all they're basically the Waterburys the Waterbury, and all those watches are like the Weekenders of their day, and it really reflects in their prices online. I would say you can find vintage Timexes online for maybe, it depends. You can find them running in good condition, maybe like $30, $40, $50. Maybe if you people very rarely pay $60. I know back in the day TGV made a prediction that they would go up in price. I've only checked a little bit. But they seem to have gone up a little bit, but I think there's just so many of them in circulation that anyone who wants to have a vintage Timex, they can have a vintage Timex. If you're looking to buy your first vintage watch, I highly recommend Timex. They're like I said, they're inexpensive, they're cool. My other vintage Timex, I've told this story before. It was on the Urban Gentry, and he held it up kind of far away, like, oh, what is this watch, right? And people guessed like Jaeger-LeCoultre. People guessed Patek, and that shows more about TGV's personal branding rather than the watch itself. But I also think the watch itself, they're very elegant. This one right here, you can obviously tell it's definitely not a Patek or something like that. It's its own unique thing, and I've never seen a watch like it. The mirrored finish on the outside, not very common. The kind of blocky square numeral indices, that's not common. And even to like the font, like what kind of font is that? I've never seen that font before. And there's a lot of little aspects about this watch that I like. I like the kind of like light gold hinge on it. I like the shininess. I love the band. I'm pretty sure the band I have on it is the original band, which is pretty cool. It runs accurately, it runs well, and I'll tell you where I found it now. Alright, everyone in the comments right now, where do you think I got this watch? And if you're right, I'll do nothing. I'll pin your comment or something, because if you do guess where I got it, that's actually quite impressive. And I found it at Goodwill. Goodwill. If you don't know what Goodwill is, if you're from overseas or in a different part of the States, Goodwill is a thrift store. I found it at a thrift store, and this Goodwill is a pretty big thrift store, right? I was walking around. My girlfriend was looking for a dress for prom. She had bought like 2 or 3 dresses that are, God knows how expensive, and she ends up going to the thrift store after she buys 2 expensive dresses, and then buys a Goodwill dress. But she looked great. But I was looking around the watch section, and this guy was flipped. Check this out. This watch was flipped upside down like this. Upside down. You couldn't see anything. It was like you know how they have those little bar holders things? It was flipped upside down on its face like this, and all I could see was part of the domed crystal. And once I saw that domed crystal, I knew I had to check out what it was. If you guys are ever checking out watches and you see something with a domed crystal, you need to go look at it further. Why? Because first of all, with modern watches, very few modern watches that are, how would I say, most modern watches are flat crystals, right? And the ones that do are usually the more expensive watches. I know the Orient Bambino is an exception, but if I found an Orient Bambino at Goodwill, that's a good day. But more than often than not, they're going to be vintage watches. Vintage watches are usually the ones that have domed crystals. And once I saw that, I had to ask. I walked up to one of the cashiers. I said, "Hey, there's a watch I'd like to check out. Can you please grab it for me?" And he flips it over, and it was a vintage Timex. It was this. I bought this watch for $20 at Goodwill. Now, it does have damage. It does have wear and tear, but all in all, it's really in good condition. The band, compared to some other vintage watches I found, is intact. It's really a beauty to behold. Really. And if you want to find more like it, I would recommend checking out your local thrift stores. Check out your antique shops. Ask if they have watches. That's how you find cool watches, guys. If you know, it would be fun if you took, like, let's say you have a kid or something like that. I'm not exactly for sure, but oh god, what is that? Maybe that means it's low on battery. But yeah, let's say you take your kid out, or your wife, your girlfriend, or maybe by yourself or something. Hit up a bunch of thrift shops in your area. Look around, see if you can find any cool watches. If you're in Switzerland or in Europe, this would be very good. Maybe if you're in Japan, this would be good also. But go check out your antique shops, guys. I can only imagine what going thrifting for watches in Switzerland is like. Definitely on my list. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. I thank you 100% for watching. I know it's been a very long time since I've uploaded. How have you guys been? I'm doing very well. And thank you very much for watching, and Akuma out.